Welcome to Real Brothers Live, Real Brothers for the Real World. I'm TL, and this is my man Stace.
Yo,
And welcome to our digital neighborhood.
welcome.
Tonight's show is going to be have a slight twist to it. Well, first I'm gonna go over a couple of our topics, which is we're going to talk about the white supremacist march in Philly and how that went over.
Yeah.
Then our next topic is going to be about stress relievers. And then we're going to have the listener check-in. So if anybody's interested in, checking in, write down a question or topic and text it to us, and we'll get you on the air to talk about it.
Yeah, there's a link out there. All you have to do, there's a link in the group chat down there. All you have to do is click on the link. It'll put you into the waiting room, and then shortly thereafter, we'll bring you on. And if you have a topic that you'd like to introduce, or if you want to address the topic that we're discussing, then this is your opportunity to chime in. So we hope that some of our regulars will use this as an opportunity to join us.
Yeah, feel free to get on the show, man. We're gonna try this out, and if it goes well, we might make it a regular part of our show.
Right.
So
with some kind of regularity. Right.
Yeah.
And this is your opportunity to not only type in your response or your feedback, you can join in. But I wanted to mention this also. You have to have your camera on.
Right, because we want to see who we're talking to.
We want to be able to put faces to names to faces. So if you want to join in, the link is there. You can click on that now. You will be put in the waiting room, and then we'll bring you on. So Nike.
Yes, sir.
We might as well go ahead and get started, man. We got the two main topics in addition to the check-in.
Right.
Where do you want to start? We got the stress relievers, and then we also have the white supremacist marching in Philly. Where do you want to start?
Well, I kind of been itching to get to that the white supremacy thing.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean? You know me.
Right. Did you see the video?
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, them dudes ain't really powerful like that. Them dudes don't have no clout. Them dudes don't have no power. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes, they working for these 1%ers or the people that own everything, trying to stir up shit. But they must not have read about Philly.
Yeah.
They ain't the place to be put.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you'd have been
come down with that bullshit
suburbs
if you want to.
yeah, they got ran out. Now, I do believe that they have every right to do that, though.
They do. But whoever got every right to say what they gonna say about it.
What do you mean the anti?
See how they got their asses ran out of there, right?
But I think, like, if they're gonna do it the right way, they were supposed to apply for a permit, and then if it was deemed fit, they should have gotten or received police protection. Because you didn't expect that, did you?
No, I was like, yo, what?
But Nike, I mean,
I know freedom of speech and all of that, right? I get that.
So if they want to say things that we don't want to hear, they supposed to be protected and be able to spew that nonsense.
Right. But the thing is, Black people got that First Amendment right too.
Absolutely.
So that's just like I'll be telling people that that I know, like, you got the absolute right to call me a nigga if you want to.
Right.
But I got the absolute right to beat that ass. You know what I'm saying? Or I got, you know what I'm saying? Or to stand my ground. I'm being now. You call me a nigga, I'm being harassed. So
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that.
I'm going to defend myself.
Right? Yeah. I
mean, most cats that I know, it ain't gonna be no turn the other cheek, or it ain't gonna be no. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be no.
Not for calling somebody a nigga though. Yeah, no.
Just turning. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I think that we've reached a point now for someone to call you that. They're looking for a fight, and
right.
Most likely they call the right one. That's what they're gonna get.
That's right. Yeah, you're gonna get right what you're looking for.
But I mean, but as far as those protesters though, I don't. First of all, I don't understand what the point was. They didn't they I didn't see signs. Did they have signs?
I didn't see signs, but they was all dressed alike. It was
Right.
almost like, you know what it might now, you know what it reminded me of?
What when
It
they went
reminded me
to
of back in
Charlottesville?
nah, not even that, man. Look at them old videos. Like I look at the History Channel and all that, and I'll be checking out them Jones like back in World War II and all
Oh,
that,
oh,
World
nice.
War One. That
Right.
shit looked just like that Nazi shit, man. That's the
Yeah.
way they was, rolling around. And
Well, but
Trump, like
you can say that,
I don't
right?
think that, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if, they be having plotting something like that now. You know what I mean?
Well, you know
It's
that they
crazy.
believe that in August, that Trump is going to be put back in office.
They
Yeah,
not saying that for nothing.
right. So I mean,
They got
I just
something
say that
planned. I ain't
it's
saying they're gonna succeed,
right. It
but
sounds crazy, but they that's
all
what
this
they've been
shit
doing.
sound crazy.
Right,
All of it sound crazy, but
right.
like, you know
Well,
what I
we see
mean?
they'll try it. Right.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and it's funny now.
Somebody said that's the look they were going for.
What address the light?
Yeah, that Nazi look.
Well, remember though, and in addition to that, a lot of them do walk around with the swastikas on their armbands and everything else. So a lot of them are Nazi sympathizers. I heard a story the other day that there was a book recently written, and the person indicated that Trump talked about how Hitler did a lot of good. Now, don't get me wrong, and this might sound weird, but if he's talking about building the autobahn and things like that, that's one thing. But first of all, to say that though,
Nah, that
I don't
nigga
know
ain't
if you
did
can.
nothing good. Stace, that nigga, yeah, Hitler was the worst. Cause like I
He
don't get
was
no. I don't care if he like saved the child from drowning. That nigga was the worst.
he was
Like
the worst.
Hitler killed a
Yeah,
lot of people for no
right,
reason.
right,
Like,
right,
you know what I mean? With that bullshit. Nah. He don't get
right.
no
Yeah,
pass.
yeah.
Nah.
No, I agree. I
I'm
agree. But
surprised you like it. Well, Hitler wasn't
no, no,
that
no,
bad of a dude. That's
no,
my
no, no,
dude. Like, you know
no,
what I mean? Like
no,
he
no.
wasn't that bad.
What I'm trying to,
He
what
did
I
some
was
good
saying is
stuff. Look at the
that
Autobahn. Fuck that
no,
Autobahn.
no. What I'm saying on Nike is that if that's what Trump is kind of running with, I disagree with it, but hopefully that's what he meant because that makes more sense than
You
just.
giving him too much a benefit of a doubt, man.
Well, yeah,
Benefit of the
actually, that's
doubt.
what I'm doing.
Like
Trying to give
you
him the
try.
benefit
I
of the
see you
doubt.
trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but come on.
Well, but I think also we have to consider that other side, though. I would like to have heard or have someone ask him, "What do you mean by that?" Because we do need to consider the other point of view. You know what I mean?
But you know what he mean by that.
I think so.
What else?
You
I
know?
mean, you know what I mean? Like even
Yeah.
can that even be taken out of context?
What you mean that what he said?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
well,
see,
Hitler
but
did some good things.
no, I
Come
don't think
on,
it's a
man.
matter of
Like,
taking it out of context. Is we don't know what he meant by that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I would have liked someone to have been able to follow up with that with a question to say, well, what do you mean? What good did he do?
well, let me ask you, what do you think he meant?
What do I really think he meant?
Yeah.
I truly think that he meant, his program to exterminate people that weren't like him, the ones that he thought were outcasts,
Right.
gypsies, blacks, gays,
And
Jewish.
that's what he meant. That
I mean,
so that's what he meant.
see,
My
but again,
mom, my grandma always told me if it walk like a duck and it quack like a duck, it's probably gonna be a duck.
it's
You
probably
know
a
what I
duck.
mean? Yeah.
I agree. Now I see some a couple people on. Hopefully, one of them. All right, I see. Shice said that was a look they're looking for. Hopefully, Shice will click on the link and join in. Because he's the one
Pat,
that mentioned.
hey, Shice, I know you got some words on this thing, man.
Yeah. You click on the link, Shice, and join in, man.
Hey,
Um,
you too, Pat. If you want to chime in, get ready when we get to the listener check-in. We get you on.
yeah. Or
That
just chime
goes for
in,
anybody else that's listening.
or if you want to join in with this conversation, then click on the link and join in. Um, but as far as that march though,
It was weak, man. That showed their weakness is what it actually did.
True.
You know what I mean? That actually showed their weakness.
It did.
Now, it's some cats that don't get down like that, like those militia groups.
Oh, you mean that
militia groups and all that? Yeah,
that wouldn't run. Yeah.
Yep.
And I agree. I think that it does show you, how much of cowards they truly are.
Right. Exactly.
Because I think if I'm not mistaken, one of their members, when they started getting surrounded by the residents of the city, one of their members threw a smoke bomb so that they can get out.
Yeah, because they know. They
right.
They know what was about to go down. And look, all the real wasn't down there yet.
See, and that's what I was about to say.
You know what I'm saying? It would have needed more than some smoke bombs if the real would have been down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, but I didn't hear that it was happening. Well, I mean, I'm not in their network, but I just wonder if they were really trying to get people down there. Was that their plan to have a march and have people join in? You know what I mean? Because I was really surprised. And I think I heard about it. It had to be, it was on social media, but it was a day or so afterwards.
Right.
Here's Pat here. All right, so we're gonna let Pat join in. Pat,
hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hey, what's up, Pat?
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Turn your camera on, man. We got to see you.
Oh, I can't. I don't have a camera set up at the moment. My desk is kind of torn apart.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. So you want to chime in on what we're talking about, man?
I just kind of jumped in, but it sounds like you're talking about the march in Philly that happened recently.
Right. Yeah.
That was stupid. It was. I saw a couple of videos of like two guys chasing off a whole crowd of those dudes.
Yeah.
Like Philly's tough, man. What do you think you're gonna do going up into Philly like that?
They must have researched. I don't think they researched Philly at all. Because the real, like I was just telling Stace, the Real Brothers wasn't down there yet. I'm not us, but I'm just talking about
the ones that would have responded.
The really real, they wasn't down there yet.
Your friend Norm. Go ahead. Sorry.
You say, Pat? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Terry's friend Norm drove me around Philly just to give me a tour when I was staying up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Right.
And that's not a place where I would go trying to spread some kind of bullshit like that.
Yeah,
no.
Right.
No. I mean, but it makes you wonder, though, Pat. What was their plan, though? Was the plan just to get out there and walk around for a little bit? Were they trying to recruit? Was it just to have a presence?
I don't know for sure what their goal was, but I think they were like, let's go there and just see what we can do. They were just probably, I don't know. They're not very organized though, and then that's kind of goes along with not being able to think very well.
True.
So hopefully, I don't know what else.
But you know what my theory is on that?
What's that?
I'm not saying. I am saying. I think that was organized to have media coverage to continue the brainwashing. Because right now Trump's not in office, right?
Right.
And they don't have as much to talk about on the news. So you get some little bullshit like that. It's going to blow up on social media. It's going to blow up in the news. True. And then you're going to get two different versions of what happened. Like Fox News going to cover it one way. MSNBC going to cover it one way. You know, the certain internet sites are going to cover it one way. It's all a part of that brainwash process. That's what I said. They
also use that stuff as a recruiting tool.
Right.
So that they can go say, look what happened. We needed help. Come on out and we're going to be here the next time. Right. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
That's just a precursor though to what's probably coming. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, to be real with you, like, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think this shit is far from over.
Right.
Like, as far as all of the racial tensions and all that. But I think they are unnecessary because like we was discussing last week, white people, black people, Hispanic people,
same boat.
Asian people, we all in the same boat. We all want the same things.
Right.
It's just that we have these forces, right? These forces that are pitting, one against the other. The more that whole divide and conquer. You know what I mean? So if you can get one group to hate the other group, then you got them knocking each other off. So as long as these groups are down here fighting those people up in their mansions in the 1% and all that shit out in Margaret Vineyard and all that shit. We not focusing on them because we down here
they're picking our
fighting with each
pocket.
other.
Yeah, they picking our pocket while we fight each other. So Pat, I got a question. So do you think that we're heading, like Terry said, do you think we're heading toward a race war? What do you think, man?
It's hard to say, but I'll say this: I'm noticing really scary trends. Like if you take a look at back towards the insurrection, there was somebody carrying a Christian flag in there, into the Capitol. The Christian nationalist movement, I think, is going to be something we're really going to have to keep our eyes on, and other organizations like the Patriot Front, for example, who were the ones marching in Philly, for at least part of them were. If you take a look at these people really close, what they're really doing is they're using imagery and symbols of patriotism and liberty to disguise what their ulterior motives are, which we don't really know for sure, but it certainly isn't to promote dialogue amongst races. That's for sure.
Right. But now I have a question then, or what I've always found funny. Those people that wrap themselves in the flag like that, they must not realize that their position is Shice coming on now. We're going to bring you on in a minute, Shice. Them doing the things that they're doing it goes exactly against true patriotism. What the country stands for. They're going in the opposite direction.
They just labeling it that. They're not interested in being a patriot for real. Like they're interested in their own agendas. Like but this has nothing to do with They do understand it. But if you unravel everything with the Constitution and everything like that, like if you go back and read the Constitution wasn't written for black people. You understand? That's why there's so many amendments and this and that and this and that.
Hey Pat, we're gonna drop you off. Thanks for chiming in, Pat. Hope you do it again.
It was that was meant for the people. Same situation. It was meant for rich people who own slaves to have this country and how to carry about their business. Because they escaped, or not escaped, but they left from England and came over here so they could set up their own colonies and and whatnot.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Then, Shice, we're gonna come to you to see what's on your mind. The one thing that I will say though, Nike, is that the words of the Constitution, though, other than where it talked about how some people weren't eligible to vote and things like that, other than that, the Constitution, it doesn't mention race or color or anything. It talks about freedom for everyone. You know what I mean? It has always been taken and twisted.
Yeah, but there's parts in the Constitution, and I would have to look it up. I wasn't expecting, yeah. I mean, I've read it. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. But it's something like a slave is like 1/5 of a person, some shit like that. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you might think it says for all people now. Or they might have amended that shit, but when they was writing all that stuff, that wasn't meant for us.
Right. Okay. Shice, what's up, man? What's on your mind? You got something to chime in?
Terry was saying when they wrote the Constitution, they didn't have to put in a specified white man because they knew exactly who they were talking about. They wasn't talking about the Africans that were enslaved. They wasn't talking about the indigenous people they took the land from. They wasn't even talking about white women. They will only talk about white men. So as we expanded and made it broader and say, okay, make the Constitution live up to what it's supposed to mean. And you heard Dr. Martin Luther King reference that in his speech. We weren't included. He was basically telling us now that we are citizens and we got this melting pot that y'all said we were. Live up to
the words.
But the words wasn't written because Thomas Jefferson, the founding fathers, they were slave owners.
And another thing, those founding fathers,
women couldn't vote. Their women couldn't vote. The indigenous people that were here, the Native American that were here, they didn't have the right. But going back to that march, the only thing I could think of, you had to go back to the thing that happened in VA. Were they trying to stir it up, thinking that whites who thought like them were going to come out and we was going to get what we got in VA with the people of Philadelphia and the surrounding areas was going to clash against each other, and that just didn't happen for them because white folks here know not to do that.
Right. You have to keep in mind too, like back to the Constitution, you know, that was written by the 1% at the time. You get what I'm saying? It was like the Billionaires Boys Club back then. They owned all the land and the farms and
by the white
businesses. Exactly. So that wasn't written for us at all.
No,
it wasn't even written, to your point, for what they later called white trash. Poor white people, the immigrants, the Italians, the Irish.
We are all being brainwashed.
It wasn't even written for them.
We're property owners.
They start looking at, we have to set up something in front of the indigenous, the Africans, the immigrants that's coming over. Let's elevate classism and white privilege to be the gatekeepers for the elite.
Right, exactly.
All right, Shai, while you on, as we wait for somebody else to click on, I'm glad you did too, man. We're gonna move on to this next subject. What are some of the things you do? I mean, right now, things are tight. Things are stressful. You know, everybody's stressed out. You know, COVID, work situations. Some people not getting enough hours. Some people getting too many hours. What are some of the things that you do for stress relievers, Shice? You know, I mean, see you laughing.
He
like this.
I definitely get my workout in. I don't match it up with my diet, but I definitely get in here and push-ups, throw the dumbbells. You know, I do the art thing and music. But sex has always been a great stress reliever, brother.
I knew he was getting ready to say that. I knew he was. I was waiting on it.
You don't understand, you know, and I'm just speaking for men. Feminine energy to have your woman
was batting cleanup. I see.
The feminine energy when you have your woman close, when she's in a good mood. I ain't talking about when we tense and fight each other, but when y'all in a good space together and intimacy. I wasn't leaving that out. We just sitting around holding hands. So I said, "Ooh, this feminine energy."
So, okay, you know what? But all right, okay, and I hate to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. All right. So, do you think that? I mean, does everyone understand that? You know that is a stress reliever. Yeah, that.
I think everybody that's had that experience understands that that's a stress reliever, Steve. I think you know what I mean. Like, because afterwards you like. If you smoke, you like, I need a cigarette. You know what I mean? Or if, you know what I mean? Well, I need some Gatorade or something.
You know, just look at anybody that's listening can look at when you and your woman or you and your man is in good spaces.
Right.
The intimacy is connected and all that kind of stuff. Y'all both happy.
Right.
There's no way you and your woman in a good space, intimacy is popping, and you still mad.
Yeah, no.
Still mad, brother. You ain't doing it right.
Yeah. Somebody not right. Yeah. I mean, so you know, as far as stress relievers, then I mean, lately, do you agree with that though? Do things seem to be wound up a little tighter than normal? Do you?
Well, let me be the.
I guess I should have just came straight to you.
Let me be the spokesman,
right?
Since I just came from my Club Cuckoo vacation. So, like, you know what I'm saying?
Real brothers ain't PC.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Hey, man, stress is a motherfucker, man. I'm gonna tell you, like, stress can give you cancer. Like, stress can mess with your mind, cuz like, you got to be strong to handle a whole lot of stress, especially at one time, man.
Right. People don't realize also that stress is a chemical reaction. Also, stress,
and it comes from different forms. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I mean, but that adrenaline constantly pumping through your body changes. It's not like you just something happened and you got startled and then your stress level goes up and then it goes down. I'm talking about true stress is a chemical situation. It's serious. Right. And that's why it kills, you know. That's why it kills. But no, I do think, man. I think right now things are wound tight, man. You know,
It is, man, because to be honest, that last 4 years put us through some.
you
I think
attribute.
people is depressed about the whole Trump, the whole Trump 4 years, right? All of the dumb shit that was going on with that. Then you got the pandemic. People locked in their houses, don't know if they gonna get the. You know what I mean? People were scared, man. I was scared. Like I was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Washing
had to
my
be
hands
scared.
constantly, like, you know what I'm
Scared of
saying?
the
Like,
unknown.
right, yeah. So I think that affected people, especially young people, because you know they weren't able to. Young people are not really social anyway. So this kind of set them back in my opinion, a little bit farther because you know all they had was the internet.
Right.
I think that's age. Because I think you're talking about school age kids, they were definitely locked in. But them 20-year-olds,
they were still going out.
Damn a pandemic.
Yeah,
they was
still out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was out there.
Was having secret parties.
Right. Yeah, they got busted a couple times. Yeah.
Still was like I'm looking at the timeline like they didn't give up.
Yeah. Nah, they
still don't.
Did. They still don't.
Now,
right.
The kids, they were inside.
Right. Well, because the parents had the ability to keep them in.
If you raising kids, it's easy for me to tell Raheem, 11-year-old, not to go outside.
Right.
But if Rashad, 22.
Right. Yeah. Nah.
All right, you go outside, you ain't coming back in here.
Right. And you know, it's funny. With that being said, though, that's what it became because now you putting an entire family in jeopardy. You know, and the problem is that it was the unknown. Hey, tell Pat to go ahead and log on and get on. It was the fear of the unknown. We didn't know how this thing was going to affect us. We didn't know how it was affecting our body. We didn't know how it was killing us. So yeah, it did become a situation like that. Like you said, Shice, like if you leave.
You don't think I'm watching it seem like the numbers going down. Trump is out. You don't think it's loosening up? You still
absolutely. Yeah, it is. Now we have this variant that's coming around, but based on the statistics, though, the people that are feeling the effects of this are the ones that haven't been vaccinated.
See, I see something that said
we're gonna bring Pat on in a minute.
That spoke to what you just said, but they said they don't have the numbers for PA, but the rest of the country they had the numbers for.
Right.
The only people the new cases was all unvaccinated.
Unvaccinated, right? Which, and actually, we're working on bringing somebody on that's a little more versed in this subject to talk about it more in depth. So y'all stay tuned. But yeah, that's exactly right, Shai. So that says that if you're concerned about it, we need to be able to put this thing behind us. We need everyone to go get that vaccine. There's just no way around it. Or we're going to find ourselves in this place for a while.
And to when you talk about stress, kind of selfish it was, but them bringing sports back while we were still locked in, that
was a good move.
People was watching the basketball bubble league.
Right. You don't think that was a good move?
It was kind of selfish, but we kind of needed that.
We needed that. That's what I was gonna say. I think that was a good, and I think they're on the. Hey, Shice, man, thanks for tuning in, man. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this going forward. All right. Don't forget to buy the CD, King Shice. All right,
that's right, King Shice.
And we're gonna bring Pat on. We're gonna bring Pat on. All right. I think Nike. What's up, Pat? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, that's you again, Pat. All right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I saw a message from Terry saying hit the link, and so I was like, oh, okay.
That's fine. It's cool. I was talking about Patrick Sandlin, but it's cool.
Oh, let me jump off then.
No. Stay on, man. We love you here, man. You are a dude.
Well, at this point, go ahead, Pat.
I was just gonna say, just to add to what y'all were saying, and you look at some of these states, like especially in the deep South, where you have such low percentage. Like taking for example, Alabama and Mississippi, you've got 37% and 40% respectively, people who have had just one dose.
That's right.
The second dose, only 33% in those states.
That's
Does
crazy.
it say, though? What does it say about those media outlets that are basically lying to their listeners, telling them that they shouldn't get vaccinated, though, when they know that they're the ones that are going to get killed from it. What does that say about them?
It says they're
wanna
stupid.
Thin out the population.
Yo,
If they think that they're getting microchipped or something, they should take a look at what they're carrying around in their pocket every day: a cell phone with a microphone and internet connection. It's outstanding the number of false claims that are out there on how this vaccine. I've had the vaccine for a long time and I've had no problems. I don't know anybody who's had problems.
Me either.
Yeah.
You know, I've had mine and I haven't had any problems with it.
I mean, they when they were rolling it out, they were letting us know and putting the stats out there, and they proved that. I mean, you had a better chance of winning the lottery than being hospitalized as a result of the vaccine. You know, but
that's right.
Like you said, you still have some people out there telling their listeners not to get the vaccine. They said that one of the outlets, Fox News, had a program where they were telling people under 30 all the detrimental things that have happened as a result of being vaccinated. A special program. Again, I mean, there's
right. That's crazy. Like that's what I'm saying, Stace. There's program. See, people don't understand. Like when I be saying, like we are being programmed daily. As long as you got this phone in your hand all day, as long as you got the TV on all day, you're being constantly programming. That's why when back in the day when you would get a commercial or something, what would they say? Back to our regularly scheduled programming, right?
Right.
They meant that shit. Like,
but Terry, okay.
It wasn't as pronounced as it is now.
I get
but
that.
Now you have so many different outlets, and they've narrowed it down where it's only two sides to every, you know what I mean?
But even with that being said, though, and this is to both of you, it's still illegal to use your example, advertisements selling, making false claims and selling things that are dangerous and will be detrimental to someone's health. That was illegal. You couldn't sell something that's going to kill. That's going to kill you when used the regular way. So you would think that there would be a mechanism in place where the government can say to this outlet, wait a minute, you cannot do that because you have millions upon millions of listeners and you're giving them incorrect information. You
don't see. That's what I'm saying, Stace. This shit is. It don't make sense. None of this shit makes sense. You get what I mean? Like, if the 1%, the 1%ers, that's what I call them. The one, the one with all the money, the power, everything.
Right.
They own everything. So if they say, "Oh no, we putting that on my station," guess what? If Rupert Murdoch say, "Nah, we putting such and such on my station," guess what's gonna happen? They putting it on that station. Don't matter if it's true. Fox News says a whole lot of stuff that's not true. You know what I'm saying?
They make a lot of allegations, and then you ask somebody who makes a claim. Well, you like, for example,
do you have any proof for you? Right.
Yeah, I heard recently that the FBI might have been behind the insurrection. And I was told by this person that it was a Fox News article, and I said, okay. And I looked at the article. I could not find a shred of evidence to support that claim. And I said, well, just find the evidence to back that up, and then maybe I'll give it more credit.
Now,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, like you said, they're not supposed to, tell lies in their media, but that's not the case, man.
Now, it's one thing, like to tell a lie
propaganda.
Or a slant. True, but it's one thing to have a slant, but it's another thing to put something out there that's dangerous. And that's my thing. That's as if a building is on fire and the Fox News hosts are saying, "All right, everybody run into the building." I mean,
have you ever heard? I'm sure you've heard of Tucker Carlson, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'll just stop right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm
saying? So Pat, all right. This is the listener check-in portion. All right, you came on. You were talking about the white supremacist march and the other subject. What else is on your mind, man? What else have you been thinking about?
Just how we need to keep doing this more. Honestly, we just need to sit down and have these talks. It's the media that divides us.
Right.
You know, it's all the media that divides. It's not just what you see on Fox News or CNN. It's everywhere. And this is what we can do. We can sit down and we can have these talks. And I don't want to have y'all to have other people on, but I just want to say this as my parting words. If you're listening to this and you have not received your COVID-19 vaccination, go get it as soon as you can. Protect your people around you. Do your duty as an American and protect your fellow man.
True. That's right. Thanks, Pat. Well spoken. All right, man. Take care.
Yeah. So what I was saying, Stacey, like that's propaganda. You know what I mean? That's how regimes brainwash people. Like that's the same. Look at Cuba. Look at Russia. Look at you know what I'm saying? Like if you own the media, if you own the communication that people consume, then you own the message that they receive. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to turn the world into a black or white world, right? When there's so much gray area in between.
It's all gray.
Most people live in that gray area.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where you want to be, in the gray area.
Right.
Because the gray area, you know, is more tolerance of other cultures. You know what I mean? Is more conversation. You know what I mean? But when you just black and white, you know, you that's not going to work.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Nike. I think that and fortunately, I think that most people do operate in that gray area. I believe so.
Because we all want the same thing, and we keep saying that. You know what I mean?
Right. I think for the most part, 85% of us are operate in that gray area and want the same thing for us and our family. But unfortunately, when you have a megaphone as large as a news outlet spewing just anything and unchecked, to me, there's a governing body, that governs radio and television. What is it? Not the FDA? That agency,
the FCC.
FCC, right? So you would think that some things that are said that we know are blatantly wrong, the FCC should be able to step in and enforce.
Who owns the FCC?
I mean, that's the government. That's a governmental
agency.
I
mean, like, it's a government agency, but do you think they have like lobbyists, or do you think they like?
Yeah, actually, it would be the media. Yeah, it would be the media organizations, because they don't want to be governed. They want to be able to do and say what they want to say.
Right.
And I get that. It's the yin and the yang is good, because I think that laws are made on the fringes. The ideas on the fringe, and then it's chiseled into something that the majority can accept. But again, I just think that organizations, you at some point they have to step in and address.
Right. But the thing is, if you have people like, okay, the laws aren't written for us. Let's just put that out there. Laws are not written for us.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying laws are written to keep people mentally enslaved, right? Like
laws.
No, I'm talking about now. Yeah, I don't want to say all laws, but most laws, because they control everything. Like the people that make these laws are controlled by that 1%.
Okay.
So the laws that are created are to always benefit that 1%. You get what I mean?
Unless enough people
the healthcare laws, they benefit the 1%.
Well,
tax laws,
unless
tax laws, they benefit the 1%. The court system benefits the 1%.
Unless
you know what I'm saying? Unless what?
I disagree. I think that laws that are written and the lobbyists who have very loud voice,
right?
If unchecked,
you got the 1%. You got the 1% here. Right? You got the 1% here, right?
Right.
Then you got the lobbyists,
right?
And then you got the politicians. So that money comes from the 1% through the lobbyists
To the politician.
Right.
But
so
what
if they say, I want this law because I didn't make any money on oil last year. So now we got laws that create a war with Iraq. So now they can go over and take what they need. I'm just using that as an example, right?
I understand.
But
the difference is though, like when there's enough of an outroar from the masses, from the people, that's another way that laws are changed also. Think about what happened, all the laws that they passed to stifle our ability to vote in Georgia. And enough people came out for the election that we were able to get some of our people in office.
We got them in office, but guess what that did? That made them even more determined to, they have so many laws on the books that were just created because they don't want people coming out in droves. They don't want people to be able to vote.
Right.
They turning us back to Jim Crow. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't really say that, that's why I say that the laws don't benefit us.
But how do you stop that?
But when they see that the laws start to benefit us, then the laws are changed.
But Nike, so using the example that you use, they're passing laws to stop us from voting and making it illegal to give people food while they're in line. What is another way to stop that, though?
What you mean? What's another way to stop it?
If enough people rise up and say that we disagree with that law, or if you vote for that law, we're going to take you out of office or put you out of office, then that law won't pass, right? Yeah. So the people still have power, though, and that's not to say again that unchecked lobbyists.
The people don't have as much power as they think they have. They don't have as much power as they should have. You get what I'm saying? Because of the 1%, because of the lobbyists. You voted this cat or this person into office, right?
Right.
He's a stern Democrat, or he said his values matched up to what you believe in. His values was your values. But now he gets in the office and then the lobbyists get to him. Well, and then when they start flashing all that money, most of those guys are going to bend to the will of that 1%. And that's why you can't get simple bills like the anti-lynching law. That's why you can't get simple bills like the healthcare law. You can't get simple shit passed because you have enough people in there getting lobbied from these 1%ers that they're going to keep status quo. They're going to make it look like they're trying to do something, but in the end, are they really doing anything?
Now, I do agree, Nike, that money and that dark money in politics is strong. Yeah, I agree with that.
Until you get that out, the Democratic experiment is a failure, because if you can buy votes, or if you can buy politicians, then what are we saying? People are supposed to be.
See, and that's what I was going to say. But so using the example that you just gave, though, Nike, this politician gets this lobbyist flash all this money and attempts to buy this politician, and then it starts to come out the laws that this politician is considering, and then the people that voted that politician in, goes to his office and calls his phone to say, if you vote for that, that'll be the last you'll be voted out of office in next election. That is also a way to make that makes people move also. I think one of the biggest problems we have in the democracy is people not participating.
Right.
I think that's a bigger problem. So therefore, and that kind of ties into what you said before. If you have us fighting each other over nonsense, then we aren't voting because we're too busy fighting over the stupid stuff while the 1% is in our pocket on the other side. So, but the fact still remains that the people still have the power.
The people have the power, but they don't use it because they're brainwashed not to.
Okay. Agree.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like a catch-22, right? You know what I mean? Like
right. Yeah. It's a distraction. We have the power, but there's so many distractions out there so that to try to get us to not use the power that we have. I mean, but with that,
Right.
but then you'd have to say it's still incumbent or it's still on us to not fall for that distraction, because we still have to recognize the power that we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know,
Right.
so what did that say?
The percentage
Right.
of people who actually vote is incredibly low.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, the reason why we were able to get Trump out this time is that, you know, we had the highest turnout ever. What, 100?
Yeah, but should we have to have that kind of turnout in order to change an office?
Yeah,
Or change an
I
officer?
think so. I think so, because
we won that election by over 9,000 votes, was it?
8 million.
I mean 9 million,
Right.
8
yeah,
million,
like yeah,
9 million.
That. Yep.
But and it still was debated if he lost or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, how
But that's
far
different, though.
is the finish line? How far do we have to have a lead to get to the finish line before it's a legit race? You know what I mean? Like,
now, but that's different. What they're doing now, though, is different from anything we've ever experienced. You know, we've never experienced an entire party talking about an election was stolen, or that the president that was elected, it was not duly the duly elected president. This is new. This is a new experience. You know, so
they've teetered on that a few times. Remember Al Gore?
Well, now that was different.
Why was that different?
Because remember you mean down in Florida when they had to go back?
He actually won that election
because it was so close. Right.
But he actually won that election. So
he did.
He
did.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like the status quo is not going to change. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like the status quo is always going to be the 1%er feeding what goes down that reaches, the lower and the impoverished and, middle class population.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Everything trickles down from them. Right. And we're brainwashed to feed into that.
Yeah. And again, I think like
we have to enlighten ourselves, man, and we have to be smarter.
We do. Agreed. But again, I still maintain, I go back to it that unfortunately we don't recognize the power that we have. I'm trying to send a message to Sam to tell him to try.
Some of us do.
What you mean?
Like I recognize. You know what I'm saying? Some of us do recognize it, but you just have to. You got to turn that. We got to reprogram ourselves, man.
True.
We have to.
Sam, you have to try to log in again. This is whatever you did is not working. You have to try to log on again. Sam Dowling. What are you saying, Knight?
So we have to try to enlighten ourselves, man. Like everybody should, turn off the TV sometimes, man, or what research what they're telling you. Right. If you see something on there, and don't just take it for granted that it's true. Right. Research it. Or if somebody, or even on your phone.
I think we got lazy, Nike. I think that we forgot that democracy is not just a title. Democracy is a verb. A democracy requires action, because you have to get up, you have to educate yourself, and you have to participate in a democracy. Because if you don't, someone else's will be what takes the day. You have to participate in the democracy, and exactly. I think we got lazy and forgot that.
Right.
What did Robert say?
He said that Al Gore didn't win his home state, and it shouldn't never relied on Florida with the challenger, which was
he lost to Bush. Yeah, he lost.
Yeah, to Bush. Jeb Bush was the governor of Florida at the time.
Right.
So you know what I mean? That's like I said. All of that stuff is already controlled, man, and we have to be smart enough to if they're gonna say the process is for us to get the laws changed is vote we have to get out there and vote.
You have to vote.
But we have to vote in droves, man. We can't just vote in the presidential election one time and think we did something.
Right.
You know I mean, you gotta be at that primary. You gotta be at the the presidential. You got to be at the local elections. All that, man.
Because that's the reason, or
that's their game. So we have to get good at playing their game.
True. Well, actually, no. This is our game. We just have to get back in it because as citizens,
no, it's their game, but we have the power to change it.
But we have
1% still own all the government.
But Nike, this is as much our game as it is theirs. I mean, as citizens, they don't have any more rights than we do.
We can make it our game, Stacey, but it's not our game right now.
Oh, are you saying it's not our game because we're not participating? We're allowing it to be their game?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
As long as the 1% still own everything, as long as the 1% are paying all these politicians, you know what I mean? That's, things for us ain't never going to change. That's what we have to change. We have to get all of those politicians out. We have to change the laws on who you can accept money from, like those big corporations, the lobbyists and all that. You shouldn't be able to pay an elected official for anything.
Now, I don't know. Well, I think that elections should be publicly funded, to be honest with you. I think that
they are elections, they get a check for being a governor, or don't they get a check for being a senator? Don't they get a check for being a congressman?
No, I mean to run for an election. I think that because if they're publicly funded, if the elections are publicly funded, then there would be nobody giving money to politicians. So I think that each person, once they get enough signatures, should get, I'm just throwing out a number, $10 million to run their campaign, period. So there would be no more dark money.
Everybody's running on the same amount of money.
Same amount of money.
You can't buy an election.
Correct.
You can't collect money from the lobbyists. You can't, you know what I mean? These corporations can't be in your face.
Right.
All that, man.
Right.
But see, think about it. If me and you can think this up in how long we've been on the air for less than an hour, you think they had hundreds of years to you know what I mean to do that. So they're not going to change that. We have to change that.
Agreed. And again, I hear them having conversations about publicly funded elections, but I guess to your point, then you're talking about the lobbyists saying no, don't do that because then that takes away Which one?
The one somebody just posted.
See the eyes that see beyond what you're looking at.
Yeah.
See the eyes that see beyond what you're looking at. All right, what are you getting from that?
Like, if you see something on the screen, you got to look beyond what they're actually saying. You got to, first of all, you got to look at why they're telling you what they're telling you. And then you have to look at, is what they're telling you actually even true?
Agreed.
You know what I mean? We're in a society now where truth is alternative.
And which is
it depends on and that's crazy, right?
Because facts are
facts. But it depends on who is given the information. Because their fact might not be different. Well, might most likely going to be different from your fact,
which is ludicrous.
A fact is a fact. Like it either is or it ain't. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That's why I don't understand some of the stuff.
I think where we are now, though, and I was hoping that Sam was able to get on because I know that he's into this kind of stuff. He must have one of them Walmart phones now. He can't get on.
I'm gonna kick him off so he can get back on.
Oh, okay. See, I couldn't kick him off. I think where we are now, Nike, we have a long way to go, because we lost a lot of ground. And I don't just mean as far as what they're attempting to do with our voting. I mean, the country lost a lot of ground, and I think that and I said it before he ran, this country was stretched further than I think it maybe ever was.
See, Stace, that's not true either. Like the thing is, I mean, it is true, but only to a certain degree because I see people daily. Like I see the interaction between people, especially here. Like you have black people and white people, they all get along.
Right. Yeah.
Like I said, they all want the same things, but they're being told, like, oh, you don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or this group is telling you don't like him.
But what I'm saying is that's a part of it. I think that going back to what I said earlier, that organization that's telling them you don't like this person or you don't like that, we need to have a way to do something about, because that continues to tear the country apart.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, that's one of the purposes for our show, man. We trying to spread truth, like, even if it's just like to make somebody think about, like, oh, if I don't like this person, why don't I like this person?
Right.
You know what I mean? Think just because of a person's skin, be it like that. And I'm talking about us looking at white people as a saying, or us looking at Hispanics as well. Racism. I feel some type of way sometimes when I hear people saying we can't be racist. I don't think that's true, man. We can be racist, because if you look at a white person and you judging them just because he's white, you're doing the same thing that you don't like people to do to us.
Well, now that's being prejudiced. When they say that, they're talking about, because by definition, racist has something also to do with using your power. So if you don't have power, you can't do something by definition that you can't hold anyone down.
Well, having a conversation with a coworker or a friend or that has nothing to do with power. You get what I mean? Like, that's just people being people. Right. So you know what I mean? So you can't, if you're not giving a person an opportunity to share his views or to share his experience with you, then you're just as racist as you say other people are. You get what I'm saying? So you gotta that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the gray area, right? Most of us all live in this gray area. And inside that gray area, we communicate, we talk, we laugh, we joke
with each other,
We're with each other, and we have empathy for each other. But then outside this, then you got the fringe on the left, the fringe on the right, black and white or whatever.
Right.
And that's just not how life is supposed to be. You get what I mean? Like, and that's not literally, that's not how life is.
Right. Yeah.
It's a small number.
It's a small amount, right?
It's a smaller number of people who are like
just
that.
Loud. They're just loud.
They're just louder. Right. They get
louder.
more attention.
Now, this person
said, goes back to the brainwashing. But yeah,
when the puppet don't do what is in favor of the powerful, the powers that be, they are taken care of one way or the other. When the puppets,
which he means the politicians, they get taken care of, whether they doing what they need to do for the community or whether they need to do for like the big pharma corporations.
Yeah, I mean, but the difference is that if that politician is representing their constituents and doing what the constituents want them to do, they will remain in office because those constituents are the ones that put them there. You know what I mean? So that's a little different. I think, we have to constantly remind those politicians that they work for us. But that goes back to democracy being in action and not just a tag. You have to participate. If you don't participate, then you're right. The ones with the money are going to go in and their will be done.
Hey, I want to address this comment real quick.
Okay.
It says when we say we can't be racist, meaning we do not have infrastructures to oppress.
Right.
Not liking someone is not the same as mass incarceration, gentrification, redlining, and police brutality.
Right. Power. That's what I was talking about. By definition,
what you're describing right there is oppression, but it's not oppression it's oppression by the 1%, not because a guy that's living next to, like, let's say you live in a house and your neighbor was white or your neighbor was, Hispanic. He don't have power over you. He didn't create an infrastructure for mass incarceration, for gentrification and all that. That was done by the 1% who owns everything.
Mm-hmm. But I think what this person is saying, that just focusing in on being the word racist. When we say that black people can't be racist, they're talking about, and that's why I mentioned earlier, it's really talking about the power structure in place and infrastructure in place to oppress a people. Racism.
Well, what would you call it?
Well, it's prejudice. You know, it's being
Prejudice.
it's
Right, well, we'll say
prejudging someone.
prejudice, which is the same thing in my book. I mean,
Right.
you can't be a racist if you ain't prejudiced.
I'm gonna think about that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's the same shit.
Okay. I mean, I do understand what you're saying, but I was just saying that
it goes both ways, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can like somebody, oh, that white boy it is, or a white boy, look at that dude, that black guy. He, you know what I mean? He up to something. You know what I mean? That shit.
That's prejudice.
Right.
That's prejudging.
That's racism too.
No, racism is using power to
that's not racism.
Someone else.
That's not racism.
Not by definition. No. Racism is using power and infrastructure to affect another person. What you describe is prejudiceness. We're gonna look it up right now.
What you gonna look up? What?
Racist. Because really, we're talking about the definition. That's the difference.
All right, yeah, look it up. Let me know, man.
Put somebody else
on some shit.
Put somebody else's comment up there.
All right, it says, no, sir. I watch white folks vote for Trump. I watch them move in our neighborhoods and act if they own it. Well, that's white privilege. I don't know if that's racism. That's white privilege. But let's say we died by police brutality and whites said blue lives matter. Not all whites said that.
Wait a minute. What's that say? What does that say?
It said we died by police brutality and whites said blue lives matter.
True.
Not all white people said that. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's part of the programming that we get.
Oh, yeah, there were people on the jury filling those cops. Absolutely. I mean, but we talked about that when we said that there's a small percentage of people out there, and goes back to what you're talking about, being brainwashed, that believe that cops can do no wrong. You know, right. So I agree with that part.
Yeah,
I agree with that part. What was the first part? No, sir. I watch white folk vote for Trump. I watch them move in our neighborhood and act as if they own it. We died by police. Okay. I mean, yeah, that happened. I don't disagree with that. But I mean, is that saying that those people? Well, I mean, but that's just talking about people that are prejudiced. Well, I guess prejudice is that what they were referring to? Okay, here's the definition of racist. The noun: a person who is prejudiced against or antagonist toward people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. Mm-hmm. Okay, according to the dictionary, the word commonly used to describe prejudice and discrimination based on one's race. Racism can also be said to describe the condition in society in which a dominant racial group benefits from the oppression of others. That's what we're talking about.
But you skipped.
It's two definitions.
Skipped all over that first definition, though. He like, see, I told you.
We only go about number 2.
You go about the second one.
I was trying not to read that one out loud at all. Yeah, that's the noun.
You know, I watch white folks vote for Trump, bro. That's all a part of the brainwashing. That's all a part of the brain. Trump was a mastermind at brainwashing those people, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason they voting for him. Check out our podcast on the QAnon shit.
What was the date?
You know what I'm saying? Look that shit up.
Yeah.
And we had 2 Trump supporters on here, and we were like going all through the shit that they was talking about. They had been programmed to think that and to believe that shit.
Right.
But when I presented them facts and they couldn't dispute it,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So now they have to think like, damn, well, what?
Yeah.
What is it? You know what I mean?
We asked them to come back, and they haven't responded. That was about a couple of days ago, Nike. We asked them to come back. Now, that's not to say that they were a little concerned about coming back, right? But the fact is that we asked them to come back to talk about the 4th of July, to talk about patriotism,
right?
And we haven't been able to get them back, so we're still working on it. So, Nike. It's 9:04, man. So, well, first of all, you want to read that last one?
All right. It says,
not all of them said it. The point: white supremacy beget white privilege.
All right, I'm gonna speak on that real quick. White supremacy has no power. Well, the white supremacists that we see have no power. These groups and that's everywhere. The 1%, that's the white. That's the real white
Power
supremacy. Yeah, those are the real ones trying to hold on to power and everything. These guys that you see running around crazy with these flags and all that, and just like them boys that came to Philly, that's not where the power is. They don't have no power over us. They don't have no power over me. They don't got no power over you. They you know, they've been brainwashed just like, you know, other people have been brainwashed.
But they do benefit though, Nike. They do.
I'm not saying that there's no such thing as white privilege.
But you're just saying
definitely is
the wrong tree.
Yeah, you know? Right. We keep fighting the wrong fight.
But I do think though we do have to still address the system though, Nike. Because if there's a system in place allowing redlining and things like that to happen, you still have to address the system. I mean, if you have laws in place that allowing, you know, mass incarceration, and you see that it's having adverse effects or it's affecting people in ways that it wasn't supposed to, then you still have to address those though.
Right. Now, I'm not saying not to address it, and I'm not excusing white behavior. I'm just trying to make everybody recognize that
that's not the only tree. Well, that's not the biggest tree. That's not the biggest problem.
That's not the tree that we need to be worrying about.
Mm-hmm.
Like those people don't have no power. Like I could give a damn about a white supremacist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they ain't got no, what they gonna do?
Right.
Right.
Now, the last one that you put up, are you arguing with Shice?
Is that Shice?
You keep saying brainwashing.
That's my Black Panther buddy, Shice.
You took it off.
Oh, wait, here you go.
Wait, no, leave that one on. Let's get another person on. Lynette, right. Who's this? Bring that last one back up.
All right.
And she put her name up. Thank you for putting your name up. You lost it. All right, Lynette Myrick. 1% don't care about white or black. That's a battle they keep to divide and keep us busy. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
We agree with that, Lynette.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, we agree with that. Lynette, you're supposed to click on the link and you could have got on and said that.
Yeah, we would have liked to seen you on, Lynette.
Yeah. So how you think it went, Nike? This given the,
I like it. I wish we would have had a better response from people, clicking the link and getting on. But I guess people are a little camera shy or something.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well. With that being said, then we'll definitely do this again. I like the potential of it, and I like to give the listeners a chance to interact rather than just typing on the back end. White supremacy. You took it down?
Oh, no. Here we go.
You know I don't read that fast. All right, Eric Marsh. White supremacy has been using capitalism as a cover for itself for hundreds of years. Well, but capitalism, though, I mean, I agree with capitalism as an economic system. White supremacy has been using capitalism, but then that would imply that white supremacy doesn't exist in socialism or any other economic structure, though, right? Yeah, and I'm sure that's not the case because over in what you call was a communist, and that was 100% white supremacy.
Right.
So I don't know if white supremacy was using capitalism as a cover. I don't know if I agree with that. What do you think?
Wait, white supremacy has been using capitalism as a cover. Well, that's what white supremacy is. Like white supremacy is that 1% who owns all the real estate, they own all the businesses, they own all the corporations, they own all the media, they own all the politicians. That's what white supremacy is. Those 1% that own everything, that white supremacy is the white supremacy that we should be addressing. Not these clowns out here waving these corny flags and doing all this, these marches and all that dumb shit. That's just basically a distraction. That's a distraction from where the real power lies and how. See, if we busy focusing on them, then the 1%ers up here, they like, yeah, see, them idiots is down there. As long as we keep them fighting each other, we good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, okay, now I do agree with Shice. I'm looking in it. You didn't put it up there. It says,
What?
we went to the war to stop we went to war with communists. That's what I'm saying. Communism was all about white supremacy. You put it up here, went to war with communists. But no, we went to war to prevent the spread of communism. So I don't know if I think that white supremacy used capitalism as a cover. I think white supremacy will use anything that it can. So it's not only in one economic system. White supremacy exists everywhere.
No, so you getting those two confused, I think. Like communists, to live in communism is to have government control over everything.
Right.
So that's communism.
Right.
But capitalism is when a majority, a majority owns, the majority, like the 1%. That's capitalism.
No. Capitalism
is the ability to build businesses
on your own.
Everything runs off the dollar, off the
and privately owned. That's really what it's talking about. So again, white supremacy exists in both of those structures, though. That's what I'm saying. So capitalism wasn't, used as a cover. White supremacy didn't use capitalism as a cover. I mean, they did, but they use anything because white supremacy is everywhere. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. They saying we mixing it up, Steve. You getting that thing fucked up. Capitalism is the economic structure. You're dead right, Mark.
That's what I said.
Eric. Yeah.
I said that. That's what I said.
No, I said that. That. And I said that communism is when the government controls everything. Capitalism is for private corporations. Right.
And communism is when the government owns it.
Right.
All right. So we're gonna have to do this again, man. I enjoyed it.
This is good.
Yeah.
We want to hear some feedback on what y'all think about us keeping this format.
Right.
The call-in format.
Who is it?
Shice.
What you think? All right, one last time, man.
No, fuck that. All right, you want to put him on? All right.
What time is it? We gotta make it quick. It's 10 after. Yeah.
All right, Shice. We was about to stop the stream, but go ahead real quick, man. Give me 30 seconds.
Yo, Shice.
All right, now give me 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right, we hear you.
All right, now give me 20 seconds. Come on, we about to log up. Give me 20 seconds real quick.
I just want to say, try to make it as quick as possible. I think you twist, like the man said, you mixed in a lot of stuff up. We're not saying one over the other. You can't just say they're brainwashed and excuse white people for bad behavior and say they're brainwashed. We got to beat that. Wait, let me finish. We got to deal with that. Yes, we got to deal with elitism. We got to deal with classism. We got to deal with racism. All these different things exist. White people have used that infrastructure, not just the elite. White people, when they tell you that house ain't there no more after you came, that wasn't no being the elite when you try to move in that neighborhood. When you sat on that jury, you let that cop go. When they beat Rodney King, we could go on and go on and go on. We just can't keep giving them a pass and saying...
Not giving them a pass. What I'm saying is...
Wait a minute. It's all the above. I keep telling you that, Terry. It's all the above. Elitism is trickling down to racism, sexism, classism, and that's all white supremacy begetting white privilege. So you can't just say, no, don't convince us. Convince them that they're brainwashed and they stop, and we all got to be about equality. We say we fighting the wrong fight. We got to fight the fight wherever it's at. Sexism, classism, racism, white privilege. We're going to be attacked on all sides. We just can't let everything happen and say, you know what, you just brainwashed.
That's not what I'm saying, Shice. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is it's not either or. It's not like I said, there's a gray area in the middle where everybody is not against everybody else. There's people. See, you try to what I'm saying is all white people is not racist and all black people is not racist.
Never said all.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying, I'm stating my point, which is people are brainwashed to think that way. That to think that, oh, well, I can't be friends with a black person, or like black people are bad, or just like you're saying, white people are bad.
Right.
All white people ain't bad.
It's a distraction.
But I'm saying we don't have the infrastructure.
It's a distraction.
Going back to the racism thing, we don't have the infrastructure to practice redlining in their community, gentrification in their community, mass incarceration on them, police brutality on them. We can go on and on. We don't have the proper to take away.
We have the power to niggify their community.
They're doing that to us. So we can't just say, oh, y'all just being brainwashed. So we have to speak on every level. And when people, we're not the first people to say this. You watch the Black Messiah. The brother was trying to bring everybody together, saying, yo, it's the pig, it's the man. It's
the only thing that I'm trying to say, just like this brother Eric Marsh just said, those white boys that was marching down there, that white supremacy, they just as lied to and manipulated as anybody else. You know what I mean? They manipulated into believing that, you know, they above, you know, other people. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't disputing his point, but what I'm saying is people got to wake up and realize that
there's more to it.
It's more to it. Yeah.
All right, Nike. So in closing, man, what are your closing thoughts? You know, we got past this one. I put him back in the joint, so we're gonna go ahead and shut this thing down. What are your passing thoughts?
I think I like this format a little bit better, man. So, but I would hope to see the feedback on it. You know, if you guys think we should keep it like this, or
do a little bit of both. Do both.
Right. Do a
little bit of both.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, in closing, I want to say that also. You know, I like this format. I like the live interaction. I would like to keep it, but we would like, you know, we want more of you to take the opportunity to log on. I mean, I knew Shice would. We knew Shice would. We're glad Pat did.
Guys, I'm not giving nobody a pass. I'm just trying to explain that everything is not, you know.
Right. Well, you said, you know, so we're going to go ahead and close this thing down. So listen, you can catch us, catch this podcast on all of the different platforms. We're on just about all of them except for iTunes. He just said, "Okay, I gotta go."
We're all over. We're working on Apple, so we're everywhere except Apple, and we're working on them. So,
right. You know, so check us out. Oh, please go on to YouTube and subscribe because we like to get the numbers up. Because of course, that's everything is based on numbers. So they want to see that people are paying attention to what we're doing. If you like it, please do.
Please subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the longer we can keep this going. And then we can work on getting even merch, and you know, we can expand this thing further.
Merchandise is gonna happen anyway. We got a couple other steps to go through, and then that'll be coming next. So thank y'all for joining in. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you back here next Sunday, same place, same time. Look for us on all the other formats.
Everybody enjoy your week, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.